Would you like to see the Woodgrip go up against the Linegrip on this SlackSnap episode of How Not to Highline? Hi, I'm Ryan Jinks and welcome to my gear room. I'm excited to share with you about the Woodgrip because I did a couple episodes about the minimal gear you need to buy in order to slackline and highline. And you want a line grip that you can do both, slackline and highline, but it is the most expensive single piece that you can buy other than your webbing. So it's really nice to be able to share with you an alternative that costs substantially less and might be just as strong. We show this in this episode of line grip put up against a wood grip on the same piece of webbing, and we pulled and pulled and pulled until I'll make you wait for the results. So I want to first explain to you about the line grip so you can appreciate a little bit about the wood grip. So the line grip has been on a journey. There has been several generations, and let me explain them to you. The Bomber 15 kilonewton one is the G4. It's 463 grams, and in American English, that is a full pound. But they made a lighter one for highlining because we do not tension our highlines nearly as much as we do a long line in the park. And they made the G2, which is what this is. The G2 is 378 grams or 13.3 ounces. So it is about 3 ounces lighter than the G4. Now what they have is a happy medium. It's their G5. It's the one that's pretty much available everywhere today. And it has the I-beam look on their metal. So they're able to achieve their strength and reduce the weight by around 2.5 ounces. So Linegrip distributes their products to multiple slackline companies. So in America, the G5 runs about $255, including free shipping, on the Balanced Community website. And on SlackFR in Europe, it's 229 euro. I totally think it's worth that price because it's well engineered, it's Bomber, it's a great tool. However, that makes it the single most expensive piece of hardware that you will buy for your slackline or highline needs. Which brings us to the Woodgrip. This thing is 169.8 grams. That's 6 ounces. That's 2.5 times lighter than the G5. And the Woodgrip is 55 euro, and that includes shipping. And it comes from Greece, got to my house here in California in just a few days. But at 55 euro, that makes it about 4 times cheaper than the line grip. Now the best part about the wood grip is that Kyriakos Kyriakakis, the guy who makes them, has made this an open source project. He's been doing it about 1.5 years, and it was his intention that the information be shared on what he's learned so anybody can make them. Now it's not super hard to reverse engineer rubber glued to wood, but he's experimented with different kinds of woods. He's put a metal plate on the side, different kind of rubber, different glues. And we're going to have that on slackademics.com. And we're going to put the most recent beta as we learn and experiment and as you give us feedback when you make a wood grip. Leo Stanislaus just messaged me today a photo of a wood grip that he made for $2. He used the rubber off of an old climbing shoe, and he had the wood laying around and the accessory cord. All he had to do was buy the glue. So go to slackademics.com and download the PDF that Kyriakos made about how he makes his wood grip, the dimensions of it, some wood science, and a graph showing different densities of some woods. So go check it out. Now it is nice to be able to make the most expensive piece of hardware in your slackline kit, but what's really neat is for our Slack family that doesn't have access to Amazon is South America. Wait, they have access to the Amazon, but not the .com one. Now the point is, our Slack family in South America has a hard time getting gear because the import tax is so intense. It costs just as much to pay for the import tax as it does for the gear itself. And on something like this, that can be expensive. So for those of you who live in a place that you can't easily get gear, or the cost of the gear is prohibitive, you can make your own wood grip. And what's awesome is Kyriakos has filmed the process of him making a wood grip start to finish. So thank you, Kyriakos, for making that awesome video. I think it's way more helpful to see the process than to just read about it. But you can see the details on what kind of rubber works the best and what kind of wood on slackacademics.com. But I'm going to show you real quick on how to use this. What's nice is one of the nicest features about this for using is it just takes one hand to open it. And that's really nice because this line grip takes two hands in order to remove. Now you can jiggle it loose and pull it back towards you because of the balls here in the back. However, it does take, in order to take it off the slackline, two hands. And sometimes if your other hand is full, it can be a pain, or if you're hanging off of a belay and you're limited on your hands. It's not the end of the world, but it's sure nice to just be able to go like this and open it up. Now I have changed out the 5mm cordelette that this comes with and put 5mm am steel on here. And I kind of like that because it's a little bit more slippery, which means it's evenly putting the pressure on all the plates on all the points, which is nice. After our test, I don't think it's that necessary. But I have am steel coming out of my ears here, so I decided to do it. But anyways, the whole mechanics of how this works is the pressure the girth hitch puts on here. Now, if you put the girth hitch here, it's going to pull on the wood grip like this and cockeye your webbing really weird. In order to minimize that, you want to put the girth hitch as far back as possible without getting ridiculous and losing your girth hitch leverage. So put it just right about there, and you're going to get the flattest, strongest wood grip you can possibly get. Now, in order to put it on your hangover, you don't just clip to it, because then you can see how this is orientated sideways. So what you do is you fold it over itself, flip it over, and then clip it to that. And then this is orientated this way or this way, flat. Now you want to see something obnoxious? The hangovers with the locks kind of suck. Not only do I hate the lock, but you have to add a piece of webbing or another carabiner in there in order to get it to fit in there. So let me show you some magic. It goes right on in there, and voila! We have a compatible grip with the freaking locking hangover. Can you tell I don't like these? Now another fun concept is, you know how people have bought multiple hangovers in order to get more mechanical advantage out of a slackline pulley system, a lightweight one? Well, you can buy a wood grip for €50 and make your 3-to-1, where the tail coming out of your web lock comes through here. And then if this was another wood grip, you would grip the tail, run it back through your anchor, and come through here, putting a 3-to-1 onto your 3-to-1. And that's kind of nice if you're already going to, especially if you're already going to buy a bunch of hangovers. It's cheaper to buy 2 wood grips than it would be to buy the line grip. So, something to think about. Come on, Ryan, are you going to make us wait till the very end to see the brake test? I want to see how strong the wood grip is. Well, of course, it's called audience engagement, duh. But I'll put it up right after this. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping support this channel. This little hobby of mine of making videos does cost money, and I appreciate those who give $1 stoked per episode to help subsidize the cost of this channel. I'm not trying to make money at this. I would just like it not to cost me so much. So if you would like to support me, please go to patreon.com and donate $1 per weekly episode, and I'd appreciate that a lot. Now, I will shut up and show you the brake test. So I put the Woodgrip and the Linegrip on the same piece of loose webbing and pre-tensioned to about 1/2 or 1 kilonewton, and then turned on all the cameras. Now I put our cameras so close to the setup because I only thought it would slip a little or it would be fine. I did not even secure down my dyno. Well, keep on watching. So I had my friend Brandon pull the leg of my brake test machine, which is a 40-to-1 mechanical advantage monster that we've got. And we didn't need to connect it to my truck, so he just pulled and pulled and pulled. And it went up to 3, 4, 5, and 6 kilonewtons, and the rubber was starting to squish out a little here in the front. So I had him pull a little bit more. Check out what happened. What broke? .98 kilonewtons, and it looks like I might need to buy another one of these. At least it was super entertaining. I'm pretty happy with how the rubber held. You can see how it stayed on. And the edges are fine. It's still, this piece is pretty good. It's still stuck to the wood well. My AM steel is fine. Obviously, there's no issues with the AM steel. So this does confirm my theory that the release rope will not come off while under tension. However, it did break the wood in an effort to escape. So 20 minutes later, after we found the piece of wood that went flying, it fit back together pretty well. And you're wondering, how am I holding a line grip right here if it broke? Well, that's the best part about a wood grip. I epoxied it back together. So here I filmed how I put it back together, since Kyriakos filmed how he made it. So I basically got out some clamps and I drilled some holes in the bottom of the wood so the 2-part epoxy that I used would have something to grab onto. So I just mixed up a little epoxy glue. It's a couple bucks at the hardware store, and I put on way too much. I clamped it down, it oozed everywhere. I cleaned it off with paper towels and Q-tips. And the next day, after it all cured, I have myself a really nice wood grip again. So if that ever were to happen, you can always put it back together. If the rubber were to ever fail, you could always either glue it back on or glue on a new piece of rubber. But the point is, the wood grip should last you quite a while, because even if you bust it up, you can fix it. So if the wood grip breaks at 7 kilonewtons or 1,570 pounds of force-ish, then what does the accessory cord that it comes with break at? Well, we were curious about that too, so we put it on the brake test machine, pulled, and snapped it. 1,766 pounds of force, which is more than the wood grip is able to handle. You can see inside that knot right there that it broke. These things always break at the knot, but this thing was stronger than I thought it would be. So 1,766 pounds of force, or 7.8 kilonewtons. The accessory cord is stronger than the wood grip so far. I talked to Kyriakos, and he's going to try a different wood, and he's going to try plywood. Because if you have a bunch of layers going this way, you're going to have a pretty hard time breaking it this way. He's going to send me another one. We're going to test it. We're going to find out. No, I did not test the AM steel. I don't feel like it was relevant to the wood grip, since it's going to be super strong, but we are going to test AM steel, and we are going to snap really big AM steel. So the question is, can you highline and slackline with this wood grip? Definitely you can highline. during a whip, you don't put more than 5 or 6 kilonewtons unless it's super static, super short, and you're super heavy. So you're never going to really tension it more than 2, 3, 4 kilonewtons. 4 would be weird. Even on a big Highline, you could use this. However, if you're going to use this in the park, I would be able to use this on a 100-meter line in the park with a 15-to-1 and 2 friends pulling. I don't generally put on more than 5 kilonewtons of pressure on the slack lines I've done in the park. But if you are going to try for 200 or 300 meters and something crazy, which is dangerous, by the way, to slackline stuff that long, you could use 2 of these and equalize them and pull on them if this is your best option, or if you already have 2 for your mechanical advantage. But otherwise, I would definitely recommend the Linegrip G5, the new one that's rated for 15 kilonewtons working load limit. Now the rubber definitely will slip before their aluminum will ever break, but you will want something beefy if you're going to try some beefy projects. But this is a great solution for 90% of people's needs. So before we go, let me do some troll patrol. Questions I'm pretty sure I will be asked. You do not take safety gear close to its braking strength, in this case 7 kilonewtons. But in this case, I think it's fine to take it 1, 2, or 3 kilonewtons for your Highlines, or even 4, 5, or 6 kilonewtons for a long line in the park. Because really, the worst case scenario is it's going to break and you hit yourself in the face. Now, if you have a big loop between this pulling and your web lock, your webbing is going to extend pretty quickly. So if you are going to like push the limits on this, use your head. Keep your webbing into your web lock. Don't get your fingers stuck in anything if you're like right there. Use 2 of them. But I mean, it's perfectly fine for a Highline. It's fine for 100 meters. You're not going to really get hurt. You're not slacklining and highlining while you're using this. And the other thing is, yes, I have heard of the Snatch. We have one coming in the mail, and we're going to do a video of the Snatch versus the Linegrip. The Snatch is pretty rad. It's the same concept as this, except it has 2 aluminum plates. So we will see how it holds up. It's, I believe, the same weight as this, and for 90 euro, which is substantially cheaper than the Linegrip, that includes shipping, you can have the Snatch. I don't know if you can get it in South America easily without paying a lot in import tax, whereas you can make this at home. So it depends where you live, whether or not the Woodgrip or the Snatch could be your best bet. Anyways, check out slackademics.com for the beta, because as we learn what wood is better and what rubber is better, there is one grade of rubber better than this one, we will keep that updated. And just remember, things can break unexpectedly. Therefore, you shouldn't highline. Hey, thanks for watching. But don't be an idiot and go highline something just because I showed you how to grip one. Go with someone who knows what they're doing the first time you go out. If you don't have any friends, be a friend to the 1,300 Facebook Slackline groups that we organize from all around the world. Go find someone who knows what they're doing.